Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On Loose Lines. A little bit late. There was some chance there was not going to be a show actually, but anyway, we're all good to go. A couple of little things happened, but what a weekend it's been in harness racing, and we want people to get on board and chat about the industry and everything going forward. Just double check. What a weekend it's been. We've got good audio, so that part is good. So please get involved. Anyone knows how the show works. Now, I did put a little post up to say that the show was cancelled, and obviously it is not. We just had a little issue here on the farm. Anyone knows we actually have horses and everything, and yep, so everything's fine. We're all good to go. Just had a slight little problem, so we're good to go from now. So I've got to say a huge thank you to all my sponsors as well. Hopefully all these guys work, but Barrastock Horse, of course. I'm just going to have, they'll just have their websites. Please support all these guys that support me. Barrastockhorse.com.au is their website. Nutrient Equine, of course, their catalogues are coming out now. That's a little bit slow, that one, but I can't change that one at the minute. But nutrienequine.com.au. Harasta Trotters and Yabby Dam Farms. Go to harastatrotters.com.au/stallions, or just go to their page and just follow the stallions part with their full stallion roster out now. They had a huge weekend on the weekend as well. nzbstandardbreds.co.nz. A little bit of a quiet time at the minute. Catalogues are getting printed, no different to the guys at Nutrient, so they're getting all those up and done. But there's always regular updates and regular horse happenings, if you like, on today. So make sure you go .co.nz, NZ Standardbreds, NZB, sorry, Standardbreds as well, plus Woodlands stud.co.nz, and Mark Hughes is going to be on there. Sean McNulty, hello to you. Elizabeth Hurley, Dave Williams, plenty of people on. Get involved with what you have seen and your observations, if you like, for the week. Anyone that knows this show understands that it's not scripted. It's can be ran any way it wants to be, and I just want people to get involved and have a little bit of fun along the way and talk harness racing. Let's get it out there. We had 12 Group 1 races on the weekend. What were your thoughts going from there as well? So plenty of other stuff happening. We've got some cool things happening. Daniel Hibbard must get the big man back on. Hello to you, my friend. Alex, not Elizabeth. Sorry, Queen Elizabeth. Sorry, Alex. I won't do that again. Going from there, must get the stump jumper back on. I haven't heard him on for a while. We are live on Twitter as well, so if you are watching in the Twitter sphere, you can get involved. Not sure if I can get your comments. Don't know how that part works, but again, this is just a show to pretty much just have fun and promote what we are doing. There's some good winners on the weekend. We're going to touch base with Neville Pangrazio very, very shortly. I'm just trying to see if the Twitter feed is actually working. It says that it is, and yep, we've got 25 people that are looking at it. So not sure about the comment section, but if you are watching out there and you want to comment on the Twitter sphere, go your hardest and we'll see if we can get it. I'm presuming they'll come through just the same as any of the others, and then we're also live on the YouTube and also on my website. Now I encourage people to go to my website. We are updating it now. The front cover's still not done, but we are continuing to evolve it and build it so that it will get better and better. I was a little bit worried I wasn't live on YouTube, but we are live on YouTube as well, so some people watch it on that. And if you know someone that's not on any of these platforms, social media platforms, they can go to campbellscomments.com. That's just got .com at the end of it, and you're able to watch it there. There's a watch live, and then we'll have regular updates there all the time. We've got links directly to all my sponsors and to their website, so we're constantly evolving it. We're not going web based, but we're just trying to future proof ourselves so that if something does happen down the track, we can be found at one place. So campbellscomments.com actually is the only other place to find that. Deborah Pierce, hello to you, Deb, sister-in-law. So must always say hello to your sister-in-laws. You get in trouble. Kyle Campbell, he's no relation, but I can claim him as a relation, that's for sure. Right, we will get Neville Pangrazio back on the phone. Neville is outside doing a couple of things. We've got to go that way. Hopefully this will work. Brady Hogan, hello to you, my friend. Hopefully Neville answers.
Hello, Paul.
Neville, thank you very much for joining me, mate. We've had about 4 phone calls in 5 minutes, so we're going pretty good, you and I.
Okay, very good.
How are you? Finished feeding up?
Not quite yet, but we'll be right.
It's a joy. It is the joys of the horses. My sister-in-law just said then, good luck to Holly. I will say, I can be a proud dad from time to time. She's got two horses in the nationals, inter-school nationals at Tamworth, and they're taken off tomorrow. Both Marie and Holly for 12 days. So big effort. Inter-school nationals at Tamworth representing Victoria and herself. So pretty proud dad.
Very good.
Get me stuck here, Nev. They're up there. They're going to be enjoying the warmer weather. And also, as well as I do as a dad, it's never fun when you can't actually, watch what is actually going on. Sometimes, can you? Is it?
That's right. At least yours are interested in horses. My kids aren't. So Holly will do great up there. Don't worry about that.
I think your wee girl's more than a little bit interested. Don't worry about that. She's
she's a little bit.
Yeah, she'll keep you on the hop. That is for sure. And it's actually good. I've got Louise on camera too, mate. I just found that photo with the pair of you. It's the only way we'll get Louise on, but we'll go from there. The excitement of the big nights, if you like, 12 Group 1s, going from there. There's so many stories behind the scenes with what was going, that probably didn't get publicised, if you like, and publicised the right way. And sometimes I take responsibility for that, and I think a few of us need to, because there was good stories. But Louise was pretty proud. She had 3 horses directly in the sale.
Finals?
The finals the other night, and had a pretty good night. Heading off with Kian Kukri winning for Auntie Rokanek and Jason Lee. But you also had a second and I think a fifth as well. So really, really good night for the Pangrazios, full stop.
Yeah, well, Kian Kirky is bred by Mum and Dad, Staffordshire Park. So, yeah, so that was a good ending. Auntie's first Group 1. He was really tickled pink, actually. So she's only a little filly out of Hillary Hill. Your breed too, there, Paulie. We're pretty stuffed with her. She was really good. Jillaby Ballerini has unfortunately come up against a real good couple of horses. So she was a good effort as well. She's a half sister to She's a Wish, who was also in there for Louise and I, but didn't go as good. She's actually struggling to match it with the top ones at the moment. So more than likely, possibly would have been her last run, I think, on Saturday night. I can't really confirm that. She wants to keep going with it, but I think she's had enough. The other one was Prince of Rock. He went good. He just the bad draw and the locomotive had a beautiful trip, and Prince of Rock had to do all the work, and he ran on and ran second. So we had a second, a third, and a first, and She's a Wish ran 8th, I think it was. So it was a good night overall.
What does it mean to? I know you're going to say or definitely one with Mum and Dad, but I mean effectively you are a big unit now, that you guys, whether you like to say it or not. What does it mean when you're rocking up to 12 Group 1 races on a night like that, and you've got 4 stable representatives, if you like, 4 breeding representatives?
Yeah, that's a big part of it, all right. That gives you a real good feeling because we've been in it for a long, long time, and you hope to think that you've got good stock, and they've got to perform, and when they didn't all make it, but Azara Kai, we thought, could have made the 2-year-old Colton Geldings, but he didn't go good in the heat. So there was a couple that didn't make it, but overall it makes you feel really good, But it was a really good night for us.
Do we sometimes undersell it, you reckon?
Probably. I know Dad and Mum never beat their own chest, and a lot of other people, put it out there on the Facebook and things that we've got 3 runners in and we've done this, we've done that, and Dad never wants to blow himself up, so he just lets the horses do the talking, and I've kind of gone the same way. I'd like to get a bit of acknowledgement here and there, but we just let the horses do the talking, and what happens.
Do you want to? Yeah, it's one of the things I think with our industry. We need to change it. We need to change a lot of things, and we definitely need to promote it. Michelle Arnett's on there as well. She asked me to potentially try and do something with Dave Miles. Unfortunately, I have other work commitments that just make it a little bit tricky from time to time. And it wasn't so much with Dave; it was just with the mare Rocking with Attitude, Lucy, and the other horse, being both out of that mare, and neither of those two horses. I'm just trying to find the name of the other guy. Michelle will tell me off in a minute for not knowing his name, but
it's rocking with something. It's called. I can't
Rocking
think
with
of it
Style.
either,
Rocking with Style.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Both out of the same mare. So that was good for Michelle and David as well. And of course we had Julia Ballerini and She's a Wish out of She's a Sundown. So it's good to get them up and going, especially our girl in particular. It's their first two foals with She's a Wish and Julia Ballerini, and put a plug in for us. We got a Majestic Sun colt going through nutrient sales coming up, so anyone wants to buy him, get there.
And the Majestic Suns, they're going pretty good still. One of those
that's right.
Incredibly unheralded stallions. Does an awesome job. Keeps getting good high class horses, and also 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds going through their classes as well. And you're allowed to give yourself plugs, mate. That's what you use this platform for. That's what it's here for. So and Michelle's saying the same thing. And I do think we need to embrace it. It's not always about winning, but when the wins do come off, like, were you still there for Kukri?
Yes. No, we're on the way home actually, but we just went and seen Auntie before we left and had a good talk with him. And he was really happy with the way she was going. And I actually said to Louise, "Gee, I think they might have a go for the lead by the way he was talking." And so we got in the car and took off. And that was right. Wish we had to stay for that, but never mind. We couldn't stay for the last. We had the kids with us, and we had to get home. So it's a long trip home, and it was a long night as well. Been there a couple of hours early. We're in the third race. So it would have made for a really long night, mate. So no, we didn't stay for that one, unfortunately.
Luck can be a fortune. She was galloping the first one. I know a couple of the boys said, "Oh, were you going to lead the first attempt?" And Jason said, "A bit hard. I was in a full stretch gallop." So
okay.
No.
I had a look at the replay. I didn't know that.
You don't get to see that. I'm not sure the 6 as well. Kinvara Kate, I think Nathan Jack. They were both in a full stretch gallop the first time. So.
Well, you can be lucky sometimes, can't you?
Yeah, you definitely you can. And look, the flip side of that is too Sassy Galleon. I mean, Chris Lang Jr.'s been riding a crest of highs, if you like, going 2 from 3 and into that race, and she was pretty short price favourite, and then just not getting anything. Not a brass razoo. It can be deflating the game too. So we definitely need to enjoy that. What about Hilary Hill? Has she got another foal coming at all?
Yeah, she's in foal.
You haven't got a yearling, no. Actually,
I don't. There's no yearling out of her. No, I think she lost it. I can't quite remember actually, mate. So. I don't even know what she's in foal to.
She slipped to Pastor Stephen, and she's back into Pastor Stephen.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And the Endover Hall. So no, Endover Hall. Filly.
How old is that? Is that a yearling? It might be a yearling.
Yeah, it is a yearling. Yep. So it's a yearling.
Yep. Well, there she'll be around there. There's a whole heap around it, Dad. So I get lost sometimes. I know I've got an Andover Hall, I think, out of Miranda Maid, which is a half to Hilary Hill. She's a yearling which has been broken in, going really nice and ready to go back to Clint McSwain's, which he doesn't know about yet, but she's going back there when I go and pick up another couple. But really nice filly, beautiful mover, and if she's not an early 2-year-old, well, then you just can't pick it. But so I really like her. So does Dad. So he's usually right.
It's actually a cool way to. It's a cool way to actually. Sorry, mate. Get the message out there, because I know Clinton does watch these. Sometimes he watches them in replay, so he'll tune in and go from there. So he'll
I'll get a text shortly.
Yep, or you'll tune in onto this and go from that. $6,000 purchase. She's lovelily bred, like out of a Muscle Hill mare. It's ridiculous that they were able to get her for that purchase, but I think that's the joys, and that will always be the joys of the trotters. I mean, we had the Locomotive, $100,000 horse. He looked every bit of that as a yearling. He's gone on to prove how good he is. But these trotters can come from everywhere, can't they? Rocking with attitude. They can come from anywhere, and that's the cool part about trotters, and it will continue to be that way, I believe, anyway.
Certainly can. Hillary Hill herself, when she came out, first off, Muscle Hill was quite an expensive service fee, and she came out. She was all wrong, and she had a arch back or a roach back, and we broke her image and got her going. She had ability, but she just couldn't stretch because her back was so deformed, really. So that's why she was unraced. But she could certainly go, but just couldn't stretch. So we said, no. We'll just put her in foal. So, and she's not a big mare either. So Keon Kirky's only
it's tiny,
really. I think she's small. I think Keon Kirky would be smaller than her mother. But it just goes to show you don't have to be really big. You don't have to be a lot of money in purchase price either. They can come from anywhere, and we often sell horses, cheaply. And I think Brunelleschi, I think the half brother to the mother went through for 4,000. Amy Tubbs might tell you it was 4,000 or 5,000. I'm not sure, but they're there to be sold, to be bought. If they go cheap, they go cheap, and we all like to sell one which is it's going to pay some bills, but it doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah, and it's fair to say, like as you said, then with Hillary Hill being out of Boxbury only, and the little filly we won with last night, Mac Flick, is out of a daughter of Boxbury. The sister, they just keep winning. We really like that mare, Photogenic too, and we think she will leave a nice horse. We don't mind the filly last night, but they're just a great little family, aren't they? That continue to keep winning. I don't know Mr. O'Connor's name, Zave's dad. I'm not sure. I can't remember his first name.
Anthony O'Connor.
Thank you. He's got some out of that same breed as well, and just loves them, doesn't he? We all sort of love them. There's something unique about them. So yeah. I
see on the internet there's a for sale of Irene Rose, which is a full sister to Brunelleschi. So she's a 10 no trump out of Box Brownie, and she's a race winner. She's in Adelaide at the moment. She's not the top of the tree, but I guarantee you she'll have one inside her pretty cheaply if someone wants to buy her.
Yep, and have a look at them, and they just keep leaving winners going from there. Just quickly, obviously that horse as well. I forgot his name. 10 no trump. It came back to me. It's okay. Passing a 10 no trump just recently, made a family favourite, if you like, a stable. Your stalwart for you guys. Passing away, but he had a pretty good life. He did have a pretty good life. He wasn't a young horse when he passed away.
Oh no, he had a great life. He was the king of the castle over here, and he loved it. So he had a great life. It was a very, very sad day that day. I'll tell you, the old man. I've never seen him so cut up. But he passed. Cass McIntosh, we got to come out and help us out, and he's buried right beside his mother and another old horse, Sir Sheffield, and a good mare of mine, a Penny Spent. They're all in the same area there, so he's there forever.
Yeah, and they mean a lot more, don't they? Sometimes these horses than just.
Yeah, he's a pet, mate. He was our family pet. I mean, the kids used to pick him grass, and he'd just take it out of their hand like a lamb. He was such a beautiful animal. People see him out on the track wanting to get going when he was racing, But around home, he was just the quietest thing. Everyone could sit on top of him. We never actually rode him, but we all sat on top of him, and he was just a lovely animal.
Yeah, and leaves them too. We've got two of them here that are babysitters, both nannies here. Unfortunately, both retired now, but they just got a unique. They got a unique way about them. They, I don't know, people fall in love with them, and then they seem to, I don't know, just find a home for life. It's really cool. Actually. It really.
He started off his brood mare, Correct Centrals, pretty well too, because his very first mare, which is Sweet As A, that I used to race for my brother Mikey. Left pink galahs straight off. So we're hoping he can do that again. It'd be lovely. Yep,
it would be very, very, very nice. Before I let you go, you've been around the game for a while, Nev, unfortunately. I hated it when Karen said the other day, I did an interview with Kezzy, and she said in the twilight of her career, mate, it's never good for any of us. But she did say that. Kiang Sahara, well, to be honest, Violet Stanford, Derek the Jet, they're all really up and coming superstar horses of our game. But
Yep.
she's something special, that filly, isn't she?
Oh, she's one of the better fillies I've seen, mate, without a doubt. To do what she did the other day, Nathan done absolutely everything in his power to get that horse beat. And
No. Well, he did everything in his power to win, didn't he? Like, you're right.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. It was a great drive by Nathan. You got to give it to him. He's an absolute great driver. And but Jason's horse just. I couldn't believe it when I watched it. I thought, wow, what a horse! He just went straight past her, and even Dan put a line in afterwards, took off like Mary's Idol. Gee, that's a big statement, isn't it? So she's good, no doubt about it.
But she's got the speed of like a pacer, hasn't she, in a way?
Yeah, no. In the heat at Geelong, when Jace gave her a bit of a workout, I thought, gee, she's fast, all right. But she proved how tough she was as well, though. That was just unreal.
Yeah, well, indeed. I'm going to have some New Zealand guys watching. Hopefully, I'm going to have Matty Markham on from New Zealand, and they've got a $500,000 slot race over there. And if they're keen to go, they don't have a slot, they're keen to go. So I think if I was a slot holder, I'd be pretty keen to get involved in that. That's for sure. So,
well, I'd like to say that if she goes over there, it'll be a pretty good one who beats her.
I also think that when you think about it, how good would it be for the everything they're going to have Just Believe over there. Get a couple of places, maybe hopefully Leap to Fame gets over there as well. And if you could get a filly like this, the amount of Aussies that'll want to be there will be outstanding. So anyway, we'll push that burrow. Neville, that's not what we're here for, mate. Congratulations for you guys with breeding. It's not always about the winners either. I think sometimes horses like Prince of Rock, I know the joy they give so many people. They'd like him winning, but he keeps getting the job done. He's a little pearler, so there's no problems there as well. So, mate, well done. Congratulations to everyone involved with the win with Kian Kukri, but also just the whole farm in general, mate. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for the call.
Good as gold. Thank you very much, mate.
See ya.
Neville Pangrazio there. The farm does an enormous job with, I suppose, not exactly your high-profile horses that a lot of people would be aware of. But yeah, do an awesome job in that. That Kian Kukri was a $6,000 buy. Interested in people's thoughts on Kiang Zihara. I'm actually going to have Matty Markham on in a minute. We're going to talk a bit of New Zealand harness racing, but I'm not sure whether he would have seen that horse or not when it went across. You can see that I'm going to have the great man on. I'll close his thing down until we get him on. But interested in his thoughts on what he thought of that. But if anyone else has some ideas as well, would be really, really cool. So we'll hopefully get the great man to answer. I'll put his photo up, he'll answer.
Hello, Paul.
Matt, how are you, my friend?
I'm very well, mate.
That's the way. We're going to talk New Zealand harness, and we've got plenty to discuss if you like going forward. There's plenty of good racing happening, and I'm going to have Mark Hughes on afterwards as well with some cool things that have happened as well for Woodlands and some things that are coming up that might affect someone's sister. So she's going to be doing a bit more with Campbell's comments as well going forward. So we've got that.
Time she did some more work.
But you can say that. I didn't say that. But we are going to get over the ditch back up and going. Before we go anywhere, Footright Flats, by the looks of it, congratulations, mate. It looks like it's been outstandingly received. We had Johnny Cox on, and he said it was great. But by all accounts, it was a real success.
Yeah, it was. A small little town like Mifflin, which has got a population of, about 2,500 when it's warm, and I think we had close to 1,200 people through the doors, so that's always good. Just shows that there's still a bit of appetite out there for community theatre, and it was nice to be involved and play our bit, and get some great support from the racing industry too, with quite a few licence holders and the like coming along, and owners and that, so it was cool to catch up with them after the show as well.
Yeah, stepping outside their comfort zone, which is really cool. Dan Emery is watching there as well. There is plenty happening in New Zealand. I must say well done to those guys with their prostate cancer awareness as well. Plus I've got ours. I'll give that a push in a minute. I do know if you want to get involved in the Australian one, you can go to the Victorian one anyway. You can go to HRV or go to thetrots.com and you'll be able to go up there. Did you see Kiang Sahara the other night, Matty Markham, the 3-year-old filly?
I didn't see it live, but I did manage to catch a replay a bit later on, and that's quite a performance and quite a horse, isn't it? Untapped, and just it's interesting watching it. You're sort of looking at it going, gee, this is the raw version of the horse, and what's it going to be like in 12 months' time? But that explosive speed and the ease in which it covers the ground certainly makes it one of the most exciting trotters I've seen for a long time anyway.
And that's saying something, but you're not the only person to say that. There's so many people out there that have got that same sentiment. Even on the night, we had a horse called the Locomotive. He's a 4-year-old. He's won, he'd be close to $400,000 in stake money now, and he's got a long future ahead of him. He'd be a horse that the Kiwis wouldn't have heard a lot about. Derek the Jet is another very, very good horse. Violet Stanford's a very, very good horse. She was unbeaten before the overnight. She had her colours lowered, but there is something about that filly that's a little bit different. Alex Hurley says there that Sahara was brilliant. She remembered watching Mel Park Maid, and I must say she was a stellar mare in her 3-year-old career as well, and went on to win the SA Trotters Derby and a few others. I think this filly could be the real deal. Any Kiwis that might be watching, Matty, the boys are keen to get to New Zealand for that slot race. They don't have a slot, so any slot holders out there, the boys are keen to get across. Well, the family is very, very keen to potentially take her across there, which would be super exciting for the New Zealand Carnival.
Oh, 100%. We already know that we're going to have a very strong Australian interest in many of the big races across the course of Cup Week and beyond, and maybe even before. But, the arrival of the Ascension and the Ascent, as they are known, these two new slot races on show day, has just added another element to Cup Week over here. And it's really exciting to, what it's like with any slot race, the conversations that are going on about who might fill what spots and the like. What I would say is she'll have to live up to every bit of what we saw on Saturday night, because we've got a very, very good crop of 3-year-old trotters over here at the moment. Quite exciting, and it's going to shape up to be a cracking race, that one.
Mate, when we're paid to promote this industry, it makes it a lot easier when we do have these horses, and we will touch on Empire City, who is going to step out on Friday nights, and we're going to touch on a few other things going forward. We're not going to do the whole over the ditch, because anyone that watches it, Matty and I love it, and we can talk about this industry forever, and most shows go over an hour, but we are going to get that back up and going from next week. We will have that up and going. But before we go on too much, Friday Night Lights, Matty, we get to hear your dulcet tones from time to time. It does frustrate me a little bit. We get to hear it on Sky Active, but last week really frustrated me because they had you on 2 different channels, so you had to flick from channel to channel, and when you're trying to do video edits and remember to flick back to a different channel to watch them. But the whole Friday night's experience, Friday Night Lights, it seems to be going terrific over there in New Zealand.
Yeah, it's obviously a new initiative that Intane brought on board, and so far, the feedback that I'm hearing from people, including non-racing folk, which I think is probably the most exciting part of it, is that they are enjoying it. It's wall-to-wall harness racing coverage, in depth. You've got some of the best minds in the business, sitting there in front of you talking about things, and Greg and Craig the Whale Thompson, and then you throw Matty Cross and Aaron White and Nicole Sims and that into the mix, and then there's the old mug that just pops on and talk about the moving odds before each race as well. So no, it's going really well, and it's been, as I say, the key thing is that it's been really well received. So given it's only been a month, 5 weeks in action, there's room for improvement too, which is good.
It's interesting here, Brad Steele, who won't be tuning in, which is very disappointing, but he said he'll watch the replay, so I've always got to give him a plug out because he's one of my number one supporters of the show. Wagering,
I better be on my best behaviour then.
Nah, he won't expect that at all from either of us.
No, I wouldn't thought so.
Wagering on New Zealand harness racing is up over 13% year on year. So for the first 5 weeks, and that's only in that 5-week grab, that is enormous, and that's what we need to hear.
Yeah, it is. And Brad's played a big part in that, as have, Intane have come on board and, created these new initiatives and incentives. And we are definitely trending in the right direction. And probably the most encouraging thing, Paul, is that we're about to arrive in the busiest time and probably the most profitable time in terms of wagering of the year. We've had one grass track meeting. We've got another one this Sunday, but then we're pretty much into it. And those grass track meetings are just absolute gold when it comes to gross gross betting revenue and income back to the industry and the clubs. So, bright times ahead by the looks of it, especially as we build in towards, what's a really, really busy November and December and then into January.
Yeah, it is indeed. Rightio, New Zealand, race number 7, it was the other day, and it is the place. Oh, what have I done there? I've done something to us, Matty. I've got rid of us. That didn't work. Oh, yeah, I didn't set something up. It's okay, leave it with me. I'm an expert at these things, Matty. Don't worry about that. But Republican Party got the chockies, and it was a terrific win. But man, there was a couple of runs behind, including Pinseeker and McAndrew Aviator.
Yeah, and probably you can go even further back than that and say the runs of Mwanga, Smoke on the Water, and even horses like American Me and Da Vinci were full of merit as well. Start with the winner, Republican Party. He's a lovely horse, a beautiful, beautiful cut of a horse from the Cran and Chrissy Dalgetty stable. Blair Orange did what Blair Orange does best. He got to the front and he sort of controlled it. No one really had a look at him, so he was able to sort of stack them up. And I know they've still run 3:15, but then he sprinted them home. The big runs were obviously Pinseeker. I timed him this morning to run his last half in 54.4, which for the uninitiated around Oamaru is about as quick as they can go. And it is a very tricky track often to try and make ground on unless you're out and rolling from about the 800 metre mark. So his run was full of merit, especially given the fact that was only his 9th career start. He is very much the raw product and one of the more exciting up-and-coming pacers in the country. McAndrew Aviator's now run 3/3 in this campaign through 3 lead-up races, so he's really pushing his claim for a spot in the New Zealand Trotting Cup. And then, Mwanga will improve. He was first up. Smoke on the Water looked a little bit unlucky. I think the big improver out of it will be American Me. Yep. He actually hit the lane like he was going to really, really push Republican Party, but then I just wonder if his condition blew out in the last 150 metres. But as you and I both know, Brent and Tim White are very astute when it comes to those sort of things, and they'll have him cherry ripe for when he heads to, I presume, the Canterbury Classic next Friday night, and then on to defend his Methven Cup title the following week.
I was thinking you were going to say us old blokes take a while to get fit or something like that. I wasn't sure where you were.
Well, yeah, we do.
I wasn't sure where you were going to go with that. As I said, Hughesy's going to be on in a second. We will definitely be touching on Pinseeker because he's a horse with a big future, and he's, of course, the son of Down by the Seaside. Aurora Kenny for Phil Williamson was another really nice win. These horses are getting up. That was one of the mare fillies races. They're so dominant over there, Phil. Williams and Bev. I was in all sorts of trouble, forgot her name there as well. And you can tell the first 5 horses home in that race were all terrific, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. And even a couple of them in behind them, It's So Easy and Samantha's Moon, were both very good too. This was a pretty special one, actually. The race is called the Jasmine's Gift Stakes. Now, those with eagle eyes and good memories will remember Jasmine's Gift being a very, very good trotter that Phil Williamson actually trained. So named after one of his star trotting mares. I won't say star trotting mare because there's a little mare called One Over Kenny that a lot of people will remember. One Over Kenny, sorry. For them to win that race, and some of the post-race stuff from Johnny Turner was great. You don't often see a lot of emotion out of Phil, but he admitted to being a little choked up at winning the race named after a horse that was so bloody special to them. And I think he enjoyed having one of the other elder statesmen in the game in the bike and RT May too. They were obviously a lethal combination probably 15 years ago before Phil and Bev's boys started driving at the races, and Ricky had a good weekend. I think he picked up 4 winners across Friday and Sunday, so he's in form at the moment.
Yeah, just give me a sec. I've just got to kill the audio so we can still do it. Actually, you could actually see the scenes. It was quite interesting when you see it. So I've got the last 200 metres playing. If I can get the full screen. One thing I didn't do when I set this studio up, Matty, driving a mouse left-handed, it's a lot harder than what you actually think. But you can see Ricky May there in the middle of the field getting there. But like I said, that first 5-6 horses across the line were terrific. Poor old Kimberly Butt, she would have thought she's going to win, and she misses a place altogether in that last stride. But the reason I wanted to play this, you say about a special win, there was a little bit of Bev Williamson in a lot of these replays afterwards. The cameraman knew how to find her, but you can see there she's happy, and cuddles and that straight after. And I think I can tell any of these media guys what to do. These sorts of scenes, it actually tells people what it means because it's legitimate. The great Johnny Turner even gets in there. It's legitimate emotions. People are so happy afterwards, and that's the truth, isn't it?
Yeah, and one of the cool things about that is Bev and Phil have won pretty much every major trotting race in New Zealand, but that's a small race compared to some of the big races they've won, but clearly meant the world to them, to win it on their home track, a club where they're both so heavily involved, and as I say, in a race named after one of their most popular trotting mares that they raced, so it was pretty special.
The week just gone, was there any other highlights that we need people to keep an eye on? There's Yep.
We saw a couple of good performances at Addington on Friday night, and particularly the one in the first race, the Con Artist from the Mark and Nathan Purdon stable. He looks a beautiful horse by Vincent, of course owned by Gene Feast. Who else? She's building an incredible strike rate with horses from that stable. And then you follow that up by seeing a couple of nice, smart young trotters from the Robert and Jenna Dunn stable, and you're right, Dale and Frazzled. So, look, what I would say, we did see a $50,000 race later on in the night, the Harness 7,000. So that is a race for horses whose stallion stood for less than $7,000 in the year that they were bred. So a little bit of a novel kind of race. And it was won by Bronson, who incidentally was formerly owned by Gene Feast and trained by Mark and Nathan Purdon, but ended up at Bob Butts. And there's an MJ Cross in the ownership group.
Yep.
That's Matthew Cross, the race commentator. So it was I was quite impressed with the way that Matt managed to hold his nerve at about the 200-metre mark when Bronson hit the front and cleared away to win. He did very well to manage to keep his head on, I guess you could say, at that point in time. So, no, that was good to see. And then I think one horse that everyone can keep an eye on going forward won the last race on the night, a 3-year-old filly called Shakira from the Brendan Hill stable. She's very, very smart and very, very fast. I know they've got a bit of a rap on her, and she'll head towards some classic races later in the season, and she's going to be more than competitive in those.
Yeah, being by Bettor's Delight too, and when Benny Hill gets one that can run, you generally want to lock onto that and keep an eye on it. And the racing is only going to get better as well in New Zealand over the next coming weeks.
Yeah, it is. We build into some pretty big races, obviously, as we build towards Cup Week. So, of course, we've got the DG Jones Banks Peninsula Trotting Cup this weekend for the trotters out on the grass, and then it's into the Canterbury Classic, the Ordeal Cup. Sorry, not the Ordeal Cup, the Canterbury Park Trotting Cup's just around the corner. You've got the Methven Cup, then, of course, it's on to races like the Ashburton Flying Stakes, the Flying Trotters Sprint, and, of course, then Kaikoura and into Cup Week. So, pretty much every week from now, we're going to see big guns stepping out. Now that we're working on this ranking system when it comes to order of entry, those races become so critical to those fringe horses that are trying to chase a spot to be inside the top 15 for both the Trotting Cup and the Dominion Handicap.
Can I throw you under the bus for a sec? The DJ Jones Banks Peninsula, the Trotting Cup, the noms are out. These is not the final fields and not in barrier order. Kai Valley Hotspur was okay first up on the wet track.
He was, and I think Bob would have even been surprised with that performance, because I know I spoke to him during the week and he wasn't superbly confident. What I can say is he was very confident that the horse can be a major player in this race coming up this weekend.
Right.
2,810 metres on the grass. It will suit him down to the ground, he believed, just with the way that he generally races. Of course, just for anyone who's out there train spotting, the DG Jones Banks Peninsula Trotting Cup, of course, is named after the great Derek Jones, of course, of Hands Down and Blossom Lady fame. Blossom Lady, who, of course, many Australian followers of Campbell's Comments will fondly remember for her Hunter Cup exploits.
We must say, too, their Euro style that's in there is trained by Derek and Adele Jones. And in a random twist of fate, Derek is actually Derek Jones's nephew. But, not his son. He's not a junior. It's very odd what they happened to do there back in the day. Is that not true, Matty?
It is. And, of course, Eurostyle is driven by Kimberly Butt, who, of course, is Derek Jones's great-granddaughter.
Only great-granddaughter,
right. I think that's right.
Is it only
Only
great?
great, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't going there either, but it is.
No, I'm pretty sure of that. So, well, I did tell you I'll hear about it if I've got it wrong. I know that much.
So will I now, because since we've gone to the VDM, we've been good mates over there. The Caduceus Club for the 2-year-old fillies at Auckland as well. The fields are out. I'm not going to ask you to give a tip, but how encouraging is this? 2-year-old fillies and a huge field of 14 fillies going round, headed up by Team Telfer, I suppose, but also everyone supporting it. But that's just so good for the North Island to see 14 2-year-old fillies lining up on Friday night lights.
Oh, and it's a quality field too.
Yep.
I'm pleased you didn't ask me to tip you one, because there's probably, I think, what is it, a 14-horse field, and there's probably 14 horses that can win it.
Some of the best
to be fair.
Some of the best bred horses in the country are in there, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. You could go through most of those Stonewall ones and they carried six-figure purchase prices from the sales. So I think you throw in a few others as well. There's some beautifully bred horses in there, and it's going to be a great race. I'm looking forward to that one on Friday night from the park.
Yeah, very, very good. Matty, just some news coming out. Sunny's sister is not going to be partaking too many more races. She's got bone chips, and that was announced, I think, on Friday Night Lights last week, that she's out pretty much for the rest of this year.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a shame. Obviously, the Oaks End Derby winner from last season, looking to follow on the footsteps of her brother Cindy's son, who of course created one of the magical Dominion handicap moments. But she'll be back. It doesn't sound super serious. Obviously, it curtails her plans for early spring, but we may see her progressing towards a race like the Rowe Cup once 2025 arrives. But yeah, it's an interesting space, this New Zealand trotting space at the moment, Paul, because we've obviously got Just Believe coming over, who, barring any major disasters, looks almost untouchable in the Dominion. And you've got question marks around horses like Muscle Mountain. How's he going to come back? Oscar Bonavina's the same. And then there's this massive gap back to the chasing pack, effectively, and you've got horses like Bet and Win, Confessional, Mighty Logan, who's really announced himself in the last couple of weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see what unfolds there as we build towards, particularly the Dominion handicap.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure there's 6 Australian horses heading back. I put a post up about it the other day, but I tend to put too many posts up to remember what it actually was. But there's 6 Aussie horses. So Call Me the Breeze is nominated. And also I'm Ready Jet. They're both thinking about coming across. I'm not sure if they've convinced yet if they are or they're not. RC Phoenix, a horse that you guys would have seen, or you did see in the Tab Trot earlier on, he still believes he's coming across. So there might be, for once in a long time, quite a few Australian horses represented, and really shaping the carnival up in a different light.
Yeah, well, I think one of the more confident ones to actually be coming is Gus.
Oh yeah, well, he's
from
booked.
Queensland. He's booked.
Yeah.
So he was he actually came out ranked 13th in the order of entry when the first round of rankings were released last week. So he's just behind Kai Valley Hotspur and just in front of Bet and Win, who's 14. So there's some work to be done for some of these Kiwi trotters if they're going to work their way into the field, because I'm just having a look now and Just Believe, Call Me the Breeze, I'm Ready Jet, RC Phoenix, Kai Valley Hotspur and Gus, which is what, 6?
Yeah, but I didn't
taking
count
up 6 spots inside the top 15. I know we don't count Kai Valley Hotspur, but one thing I can tell you is that if he lines up in the Dominion handicap, it won't be in Bob Butt's name.
Why is that?
Well, Bob Butt will most likely be driving Bet and Win.
Oh, of course.
If he makes the field. So
there's some chance you know what you're on about there too.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I had a good conversation with Bob Butt last week, and he told me that there wasn't much chance of him getting off Bet and Win if he makes his way into the Dominion, put it that way.
He's
about 3 weeks away from stepping out in public too, Paul.
Did you not have a Sunday night dinner last night?
No, I wasn't invited.
Oh, serious? You're the black sheep? You're back as the black sheep again?
I better be careful because my mother's sitting on the couch, but I wasn't invited, so no, I wasn't partaking in those conversations.
You chicken. There's one other horse, because I didn't count Gus, so there's 5.
One overall's the other one.
Oh, and he is coming. Actually, I can tell you he is definitely coming.
Yeah. So he's ranked 18th, so he would have to win a race either before he comes over or once he gets over here, or produce a really strong performance to warrant sneaking his way into the top 15.
I will say to the rankers, go back and watch the John Slack Memorial at Ballarat. He was outstanding. He even stepped on a plastic bag. I'll see if I can get it up, Matty, while I keep waffling to you. But there's a plastic. I couldn't work out what this black dot was on the track, and there was a plastic bag, and I laughed. I said to Greg, I said, of all the trotters, you would not want to play. He said he didn't miss a beat either. Like, he's as rough as they say, Hessian undies, and he didn't bat an eyelid going across the top of it at any stage. So, yeah, no, he's definitely going. I will say too, Matty, over there, Riccara Rebel is not going. Greg said may go to Auckland later on, but will not be going across to Christchurch. There's just not the races there for her to warrant taking her. There's some nice races, but not as far as the prize money that she to make the trip. So she's not going. There is a lot of talk that she's going, but yeah, Greg said the other day she won't be going across. So yeah.
Yeah, that probably doesn't surprise me. There's a lot of emphasis on a lot of grades and ages and things like that, and unfortunately it doesn't cater for absolutely everyone just yet, but I know they're working towards it, so I'm sure we will see her in New Zealand, because we do know how much Greg and Jess love a trip.
Anyone watching, I've just got to go back now because you kept talking, which is unlike you.
I wasn't watching.
Unlike you to do it. So it's the horse. Well, you got the 40-second delay, so it makes it harder than that for you. But he's in the Blake Fitzpatrick colours, just the outside of the screen at the top, and you'll see they've got the numbers going across the thing. And I thought it was a glitch in the computer, but it is actually a black plastic bag, and he just went straight over it. A lot of horses would go down, and he didn't, and he kept finding the line terrific. He's not in the class of Just Believe. There's no worries there at all, but he is actually going very, very good for a much maligned old horse, I must say, at some stages. But it was an interesting one seeing that bag there, I must say.
Yeah, well, he's probably got something in his favour in the fact that he knows New Zealand racing, because he had nearly a dozen starts here when he was trained by Gavin Smith before he was sent to Australia. He actually won 3 of his last 4 starts in New Zealand before he was sold. So he was compiling a good record here, but he's gone over and done a super job over on your side of the Tasman, that's for sure.
Yeah, he stopped being a standing start specialist. He's now just a dead set good old horse, and done an awesome job. Kai Valley Hotspur, out of curiosity, has he got AUS after his name, or because he shouldn't?
Yes.
He does, because he's bred by Becken Farms. It's an interesting one, isn't it?
It is. No, that's outside my pay grade to answer that one, Paul.
Well, technically, one overall shouldn't have an AUS next to his name either, because...
Well, I presume... Well, that doesn't make sense with Kai Valley Hotspur, because he was nominated by Bob Barter as well, so I'm not sure. That's too much for 9 o'clock on a Monday night.
Brad Steele will watch this in replay, so we'll just let him worry about that. $313,000 one overall is now won, so he's just doing an amazing job. Matty, thank you. As I said, tune in to Over the Ditch with Matt Markham. We could be catching up with Cam Bray or Johnny Turner this week. We'll just see how we go. Anyway, I want to keep getting all the New Zealand content out there from the breeders and from down south as well. But you and I will catch up next week on a date to be fixed and go from there. But also, if you are in Australia, if you're in New Zealand, tune in to Friday Night Lights. That part is a no-brainer. But if you're in Australia, you just got to get the Sky Active app. They put them on Sky 2, but they pull them off halfway through. That was a disappointing thing, Matty. The other night, Auckland, I think the last 4 races didn't get shown, 5 races, and then the last race at Addington didn't get shown either. So it does get a wee bit frustrating. But if you're on the Sky Active app, you can find them, and then you can watch them there. They don't ever take them off. So they are findable, just not that easy.
Yeah, that happens over here too. I can guarantee you that if I ever bet on the Australian Gallops at some point, they'll get shifted to another channel or not get taken in because there's a delay. So we can't do everything perfectly though, can we? We are getting better. And Friday Night Lights, particularly over here, has been a great addition to the harness racing game, and it's really lifting that Friday night profile and getting people involved and getting people betting, which is obviously the main thing.
Yeah, and as I was talking to Michael Howard a bit earlier on today, there's no such thing as bad publicity in a way, as long as it is in the right light, and the more people doing it. The media room at Melton the other night was chockers, and that's what we need. So really exciting to have that, so which is cool as well. So Matty, thank you. We'll catch up next week. We'll probably text or talk during the week as well, but thank you very much, mate, and look after Mum on the couch. You'll be in trouble for giving her tell her I said hello too. She actually likes me, I think.
Oh, it's up for debate, but I'll find out and I'll let you know. I won't say it publicly just in case it's bad for you.
It'll be bad for me. See you, mate.
All right, mate. We'll talk next week. Thanks, Paul.
Matty Markham there, and tune into On the Ditch next week. He's a very passionate harness person and does an awesome job as well promoting the sport. And plus on that Friday Night Lights gives great insight, both the TAB fluctuations and also his own thoughts watching the races going forward. Rightio, one more person. Won't work that way, sorry about that. But we are back. I'll go this way. I've just got to swap the pictures over. There is an easier way of doing it, but I don't have it on here. I just got to find the great man's photo first. I'll just ring him at the same time, and we'll get both things happening going forward while I try and find his name. It can be a bit tricky. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's already there.
Evening, Cobber. How are you?
Very, very well, Mark Hughes. Thank you very much for joining me. And I do have to get your name done as well. But firstly, mate, welcome.
Thank you. Beautiful Monday night in Melbourne, mate, as always.
It's very cold, isn't it?
Yeah, weird. Couple of days in the big smoke and all over Victoria. Yeah, absolutely.
I must say, I've got to say a big shout out to Mark Hughes. Because he does sponsor me, or he does encourage me to get along. I'm just going to make sure I get the right page up, Hughesy, before I do it, for the long trot. If you go to thetrots.com, that's the official site there, and if you just click on that, the long trot, and to donate and money for prostate cancer, Hughesy's sponsoring me to run 72 Ks for the month, and getting behind me. So is Michelle Arnett and a few other people. So I enjoy it. A little bit hard when it's this fresh and chilly, I must say. But get involved in that, the long trot, and also the guys in New Zealand are doing a massive job as well. I'd hate to think what they're up to, but they were past 20,000. They're trying to raise 45, so they're doing a huge job over there. But going from there. Hughes, I got you on. We're going to do a couple of things with Woodlands going forward, and I thought we'll get the ball rolling tonight. We're going to start doing basically Woodlands winners or Woodlands week. We'll officially work out a title, but yourself and Stacey Markham, Matty Markham's sister, I spelt your name horrible there. Will be coming on. Oh, geez, I did it even worse. We'll fix it up. Don't stress. Weekly to promote the winners and make sure people are aware of what these horses are actually doing.
Yeah, look, we had a discussion over the weekend. I spoke to Stace today. I just sort of feel now we're in the space now where, 5 or 10 minutes every week. It won't be a long session, but we'll just promote what our boys are doing, not, and from a totally global perspective, mate. So we won't just be looking internally in Australia and New Zealand. We'll look at the USA and Canada, and, let's stretch it to the UK as well, because I know a number of our boys, sons and daughters are kicking around over there. I think we're just so closed shop about what's going on down here. We just need to expand our mind and expand our knowledge. So Stace and I, Neil, we'll put our hats on next week and have a bit of a sit around and chat for 5 or 10 minutes. But also we'll talk about what's happening in Woodlands world and also promote other stuff going forward, like stay-in tenders, and talk about the sponsors we're dealing with this year and any major announcements from the stud.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that people are aware of everything that is going on. I'm just trying to get this 2-year-old trot up. Went too far, Hughesy. I just got to go back a little bit. But of course, with What the Hill, who used to sponsor me the Trotters show last year, but he had a brilliant day on Friday night just gone, Quinellering it. It was all but a dead heat, I thought, at one stage. When they hit the line, I was actually watching it and I'm thinking these two have dead heated. It was a terrific little battle for these two little 2-year-olds who have both got a really, really good future for John Dunn. Yeah,
look, they both have, and they're both just those trotters that, they've got great balance, great manners, and they've got really good speed as well. I suppose that's where a lot of the racing lies with the 2-year-olds, purely in the manners. But these two girls are both by What the Hill, put on a little bit of a 2-horse swarther up the straight at Addington and cleared out to beat their rivals by 20 metres. So What the Hill's the leading 2-year-old sire in New Zealand. Second on the 3-year-old list over there, and leading 4-year-old sire as well. on 3 crops at the races and generated another winner today at Goulburn. Won the opening race today at Goulburn for the trotters. So yeah, look, great little fill up for him there on Friday night.
Yeah, no, it was indeed. Yeah, right, Dale. There was some talk it was going to be for sale because they had too many horses, but I think a couple of slot races and that were announced, and I think Team Dunn might have had a rethink. That mare's now had 3 wins from 4 starts. She is a lovely filly, very very progressive, $50,000 in stakes, and yeah, the money on offer in New Zealand. I suspect that they possibly rethought what they were doing with that horse because they are the owners of the horse.
Yeah, look, you know, what's coming up and what's emerging in New Zealand Cup week and playing it forward in 12 months, he might be an ideal proposition for that 3-year-old slot race next year.
Yep, which is exciting. Just talking to Matty Markham just said, mate, bet and win 3 weeks. He's a serious horse.
Yeah, he's a serious horse. Was super on his debut in Queensland. Obviously, things shifted a little bit south after that with him, but you know, Stacey and David saw the long game. There was some serious racing from in Christchurch in the middle of November, and you know, and I think rolling forward, he will be an elite free-for-all trotter in New Zealand.
And just another little Woodlands winner there, Shakira, that won the last. Matty Markham given a massive push to that horse, of course, owned by the Woodlands Syndicate number 3 by Bettor's Delight, this little filly. So in the care of Benny Hill. So that's exciting for the brand in New Zealand, mate.
Yeah, look, she's a lovely filly. That was a very nice win on Friday night. I know there is a bit of an opinion of her and some nice races coming up from her, and when her days are over, she'll be, you know, marched back into the Woodlands band, broodmare band down the track. She's out of, you know, a nice Woodlands family. Tanya, I think, is her mother. Yep. So Falcon Silk's the mare, so a really good time on a Woodlands family that continues to leave a lot of winners for us.
The Woodlands brand was stamped at Auckland on Friday night. I think there was five of the 7 winners. 8 winners. Oh no, actually, I'm 9 races. Okay, you better help me. Lou's had 4. Pegasus Spur has had 1, and there was one other horse there as well. Bettor's Delight must have had a winner as well. So big night for the brand in Auckland.
Yeah, no, solid night for the brand in the old hometown.
Wow.
Waterloo, including, you know, possibly the best filly there in Duchess Magnet in New Zealand. Nice little winner for Pegasus Spur, who's a nanny at the farm now with all the young kids. So another good winner for him. And Bettor's Delight, from memory, may have won the 2-year-old race for Barry Purdon, I think. So
I reckon it was early. I was just skimming through them because I know you did tell me a number, and I thought, I should have written that down. But we had a bit of a drama. There was actually at one stage no show, but the show we soldiered on. Anyway, I don't know where that one is. That was a Majestic Sun. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There was definitely one other one. I just can't find it while I'm skimming through here. Oh yeah, the Bettor's Delight. There it is there. Betastic for Pete and Vaughan. Blanchard as well. Yep. So it was very impressive. Actually, I did see that race to 2-year-old filly by Bettor's Delight out of It's All On. So going forward. The Vic Breds, Sweet Lou again stamped himself over here, mate.
You know, look, our boys had a good contribution there on Saturday night. 2 Group 1s, Sweet Bella, 1 for Lou, and of course, Bettor's Delight side, the 2-year-old fillies winner. Quite an amazing thing, Tim, we were chatting about it today. So when that filly was conceived, Bettor's Delight was 23 years old. So that's one way to put things in perspective about his greatness. And more to the point, I think we mentioned it a few weeks ago and we chatted how proud we are that our boys leave like great fillies. Like the first 5 over the line in that 2-year-old Vic Bred were all by our sires. So Bettor's, Sweet Little American Ideal and Seaside, they had the first 5 across the line in that race. So great result for our boys. You know, we're just, the strength of our boys and their girls is it's unprecedented. Yep. So that's the great upside that a lot of people just don't see. And we measure our boys by their girls a lot too.
Our mate Minko for David Thorne and the crew. He was a good win at Menangle, but Seaside He's doing an awesome job. Pin Seeker, go back and watch that race again. You'll be blown away by a horse that's as lightly raced as what he is, and you wouldn't have thought he'd be a New Zealand Trotting Cup horse. I would have said if he was, it'd be a couple of years away, but he may actually line up there this year. Whether he can win, I don't know, but he's a serious horse. And our mate Menko, who's got a very special name, changed stables, but of course bred by Woodlands as well. Now with David Thorne, is a horse with immense ability. He does have a couple of little quirks, but yeah, good to see him get a win again.
Yeah, no, he was good at Menangle on Saturday night, and so was Pinseeker. Looks, and we've spoken to Johnny about this while we're away. He's a horse. That was his 9th start there against the big boys on Sunday afternoon at Oamaru. There's a certain amount of depth to him, and that 4-year-old crop that we actually sold in the first year, I reckon, at COVID when we were all locked down at the Weanling sale, seen some very, very good horses come out of that Weanling draft that we sold that are only just turned 4. So I'd love to go back and see. I reckon there's been 6 or 10 Seaside winners out of that crop we sold at the Weanling sale. So,
and a horse that a lot of the Australians wouldn't have got to see, but a horse called Uga Chaka that sold for not high 6 figures. You've got to be careful saying that, but more than a 1 to start it off with anyway to the US. He was there is an Uga Chaka here in Australia. It's not the same horse, but yeah, spelled exactly the same, but that horse is in the US, and he was super impressive. He's out of that same draft, and he'll only go down as 1 win here in Southern Hemisphere, but it was an amazing win as well at Nelson from memory.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. One of those ones where it just joined in at about 100 metres and it looked as though
and then
it roared away.
And then it won it easy.
And next thing was about 4 lengths in front.
Yep.
So, yeah.
It won easing down, yeah.
So just on that draft, so that's Artie by the Seaside, Sinbad, Pin Seeker, our mate Menko, and Uga Chaka have all come out of that crop, mate. So that's a stunning result for a first season sire that just keeps getting the job done and keeps flying under the radar. He's probably going to be, Seaside's going to be to Sweet Lou what American Ideal is to betters, So just there, plying the trade, getting the job done, no fuss, So yeah.
We might have to do some more homework on that. You were just doing the homework as I was talking to you, weren't you? And you were like, hang on.
Yeah. So look, Seaside's numbers out of that. I'm pretty confident that was when we were locked down in 2020, that sale. So yeah. Some stunning results for Seaside there, and it's a daily occurrence with him getting winners, and obviously a big week in North America this week with the Brown Jug on, and Ohio where he stands, and Lather Up and What the Hill are going to have a lot of horses across that week at the Little Brown Jug this week, which we're looking forward to as well.
Yeah, and we know I've done a couple of things. I might even cut it up. Adam Bowden, we did an interview with him, and Adam expressed how much he loves that horse. I might have to do some. I'll do some work and chop it up and do it a little bit differently, just refine it a bit. But he was pretty impressed with him.
Yeah. No, he's Seaside's doing quite a phenomenal job. I'm even going to breed one myself this year to him. So we're all in on him, mate. We're very confident. So yeah.
Anything else for Woodlands?
Oh, look, I think there's just a couple of little things to tidy up. I'd like to thank Swan Hill and Dubbo for the staying tender we've done with them. Very successful again for Lather Up and What the Hill. Those results have been punched through in the last couple of days. So shout out to Jerry at Swan Hill for helping us out with those two stands. Shout out to Brett Wrigley at Dubbo as well with Lather Up. Both those clubs have got a result. Also, just a shout out to Pinjarra. I was there last Monday. If there's ever a club that does a first-class job in supporting its sponsors, it's Pinjarra. Dale Putland puts on a great show there. Thanks to them, and they're down by the Seaside. Stallion Tender, which we're actually breeding that mare today in Perth tonight for that Stallion Tender winner. But also...
they didn't muck around?
No. There's no mucking around. Bought the tender, mate. The 4th breeding day was just to make the team, and probably in Perth as we speak now, and that mare will be bred tonight. So that's what it's all about. So breed them early, get them done early, mate, get them in foal hopefully. So I'll look a shout out to those 3. Also I'll push on Horsham. I've got it down by the Seaside Stay in Tender, which closes on the 20th. I reckon there's the most prominent trainer in that jurisdiction. I reckon that might be a little bargain buy for him, Mr. Dunn. So I'll make sure Tony Logan gets in touch with him. And also Terang, we've got to stay in tender with them for What the Hill as well. So just a shout out to those guys. And if anyone's looking for a service for not a lot of money and has got the disposable coin now, it's a great way to get involved.
We'll get those clubs to get in touch with me too if they're watching this, or if anyone's watching this, tell them to ring me and we'll pump them up, because exactly that. And it doesn't. Woodlands and Harasta Trotters are great supporters of Campbell's comments. And have been, but we need to keep the breeding industry growing as well. So if either of those clubs want to give me a yelp, we'll look after them. Hats off actually to Horsham. I didn't get to park in the members park last night at Ararat. We had to park out on the street because it's a tight little car park and it fills up pretty quick. But someone had gone through and done the old-fashioned thing, usually they put the flyers under the windscreen.
Beautiful.
Yep, simple marketing. Print it off with a printer.
Marketing 101, mate.
Yeah, print it off with a printer and put them underneath everyone, so people would have been picking those up and going from there. And I'm not having a crack at Ararat or anyone. It's if anyone's been there, they'll understand. It's can be a very tight little car park, and when you have long floats, it's you're just better off parking on the road sometimes. So it's just one of those things. There was half a dozen of us had to do it. So yeah, it's all good and well.
No, good stuff. Yeah, and a little bit of marketing 101 there. I'm tipping might have been old mate Tony Logan, but we'll see how that unfolds. So yeah, and congrats on the winner last night too, I believe.
Yeah, no, it was actually cool, and it's really cool when you start talking breeding, and and look, you're paid to promote Woodlands, so am I. But at the end of the day, we're about the industry. But it's I didn't realise that that Kiang Kukri and that little filly of ours are actually very, very closely related, and it's sort of a pretty cool thing, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is, and as you say, you sometimes got to pull back the curtain and just dig a little bit deeper, and there's some great stories to be had, and obviously that's one of them from a breeding perspective.
Yeah, so the mother of her so Hilary Hill is out of Box Brownie, and the mother of ours is out of Box Brownie actually. So yeah, they're nieces. So it's pretty cool, and as I said, there's about 3 others directly out of that family. So it is really cool. A little odd one for you, Hughesy, that was brought to my attention the other day by Brett Coffey with Alabar. There's 2 horses now. They're out of sisters by Always Be Mickey. So one's by Mach 3. I'm just going to check. I better get this. And Celebrity Guest. They're both by Mach 3, so they're out of full sisters.
Yep.
They're both out of full sisters by Always Be Mickey. And when we were doing the Breed to Succeed show the other night, Brett said, they seem to get in the same races and everything else like that. The margin was a neck. It's pretty bloody cool, that Always Hot Beat Go Mickey by a neck. They're the sort of funny little things that you see that you don't seem to appreciate. So yeah, they're cousins, and they got pretty good ability by the looks of pair of them.
Yeah, both go very nice. Peter Gleason's breed from memory, I think.
Yes,
so.
Yep. The celebrity, our celebrity and celebrity guest. I think I'll better get it right. Yeah, celebrity guest.
Peter's breed's just time honoured that generation on generation they keep winning. So yeah, talking to Peter today. So he's very, very successful at that craft.
Yeah, he is. And very smart about how he does it, and we need to be, especially here in Victoria at the minute. There is a downturn in, if you like, in stake money, which has got a lot of people very negative on the world. I don't think we need to be negative. I think we need to embrace it, promote it, and get people back into the breeding and enjoying it. It's that's what it's sort of all about, isn't it?
Oh, look, there's a lot of positive aspects to our sport, mate. I know that we can all get down in the dumps about it on a regular basis, but we've got to play it forward, and we have to stay the course. There are some hard decisions to be made, and have been made, and there'll be more to come. So this is probably a great year to be breeding, I reckon, because there's probably going to be a little bit of turkey talking done with the studs, and the ability to maybe get a service from a few bucks cheaper than you may have thought.
Oh, and there's a lot of smart people out there telling me that we won't be in this position in 3 years' time. And one is your boss. He said that to me a while ago, and I heard it again the other night. It actually is the time to breed, because things are still levelling off, but we should hopefully be on an upward trajectory by then. And we want to make sure we get it out there. Nellie Melba says then she's also got one out of that Box Brownie family, Always Alone, as well. So hopefully she can get some winners as well. It is a cool little family. Foot Tapper, I'll go with the What the Hell that won today. I actually was just looking at it, bred by Jeff and Lorraine Barnes, actually. So yeah.
No, good result out of the crazed mare, I think. So
no, Pine Chip.
Oh, Pine Chip. Sorry.
Only because I got it right in front of me. That was I'm not that knowledgeable, but yeah, it was cool. Jeff Barnes actually rang me today to forward a email to Patsy Abrahams, and she didn't breed the horse Rapid Return that won the overnight. Actually, it was a Harasta Trotter's horse, but. Great to see Patsy and the Abrahams name still there, winning the big races.
No, Saturday night was good for for a lot of people that have been around the block a lot in the sport. Margley and all that crew down at Terang as well. So, which was some very, very fitting results on Saturday night.
Very good. Hughesy, thank you. I'm actually going to call it a night. I reckon I'm going to finish the show up. I'll let you go, and then I'll have a little bit of a preamble and then go from there. But stay tuned for we're not sure if it's going to be Woodlands winners, Woodlands week. There's a few other names we could possibly come up with, Hughesy, and we might get ourselves into trouble, but we won't do that. We'll leave that one alone.
We'll probably Stacey's got a bit of class about her, so we'll maybe she can name the little chat fest. So looking forward to it, and just doing things a little bit differently, and obviously promoting our brand, but also talking about our sponsors, and we'll have one or two very big announcements going forward. One here in Victoria, I hope to put to bed in the next week, which would be great. So stay tuned for that.
No, absolutely, mate. Thank you. Chat to you in the next
week.
Good
on you, mate.
Thank you very much.
We will do. Thank you very much. Good night.
Mark Hughes there from Woodlands. Covering across on quite a few things. There's not much else I do want to talk about. I think we definitely need to be positive, need to think outside the square. I think well done to the Horsham Harness Racing Club for just putting flyers under windows, the old-fashioned thing. I think it is actually a cool thing. Little one I did want to highlight: 182 horses nominated for the Vicbred Silver for the Trotters night. Now, it's not all of that. There is a couple of other races gazetted on that night, but effectively that's Friday night coming. So the unprecedented numbers of trotters for the Vicbreds. Outstanding. Breeder trotter, get involved. It is it's really, really cool. It is cool to have the trotters going forward. That is, of course, this Friday night, the 20th. And there'll be the Vicbreds for the 4-year-old trotters, 3-year-olds and 2-year-olds there as well, and there will be some bronze heats in those as well. So good night of harness racing, but really exciting, and it's unprecedented. So great for the industry. We've got to keep it going. Campbell's comments. Just here, this show's just here to have some fun. We'll have some serious shows. We will be bringing Over the Ditch from time to time live, but when we do bring it live, it'll be at a New Zealand hour, so it might be a bit early for some of us Australians to watch, but you can always watch any of my shows on repeat. As I said, huge thank you to all of my sponsors. Make sure you support them. We've got to get rid of Hughes' name. We don't need it anymore there as well. But barrastock.com.au, or Barrastock Horse, sorry, barrastockhorse.com.au. Their banner's up the back. It's mainly because I've only got 2 Caulfields, to be honest. nutrienequine.com.au. Of course, they said they sold 5 horses of the winners the other night at the Vicbred, which is pretty cool because a lot of horses didn't change stables. Those horses are Peter Gleason's and that were in the same name. harassedtrotters.com.au. Visit harassedtrotters.com.au. Go to the stallion section for their full list of stallions. Don't actually have the banner up. I've gone back to my old faithful computer, so I'm happy with that. But then I didn't have a few things, and we just had a little bit of a drama just prior to going live, so that didn't happen. nzbstandardbreds.co.nz. Cambrai will be coming on a little bit more regularly too, leading up through the sales series. He'll be also on Over the Ditch, going through, and then Mark Hughes and woodlandstud.co.nz. 2 S's, Woodlands Stud, so double S in the middle of that. Make sure you put that .co.nz. Again, follow the link to the stallions and you'll be able to view all of the stallions on the current roster this year. Again, don't have one of those up at all at the minute. Thanks to everyone who has tuned in, commented, had some fun. Probably a bit down on viewers because I turned around and said that we wouldn't be having the show. Siri's trying to ask me a question. I'm very happy that wasn't turned on. That would have been quite interesting. But thank you to everyone who has tuned in. We'll be back this show. I'll be back next Monday. I want to say good luck to my daughter. Always super proud of her. But yeah, 2 horses in the Nationals this weekend. So next weekend, sorry. So yeah, big commitment. 12-hour drive tomorrow. So the girls have got plenty on going forward. But I better go and cook some tea for them. But yep. Anyway, that's On Loose Lines. It's Campbell's Comments. You know how it all works. Get involved in the show. Follow us on our socials. If someone is not on their socials, they don't do Facebook, don't do Twitter, just go to campbellscomments.com. That's it. Don't worry about the last the part afterwards. It is just .com. And all interviews, links from all my sponsors going to their pages. All the podcasts, all the latest podcasts are up there as well, where you can follow the podcast. So please get involved via that and go from there. Noel McNulty, hello to you. Shawnee was on earlier as well. Had plenty on as well going forward. But the shows will ramp up from right now right through to the summer and into the new year. So it's going to be plenty of fun. Thank you very much. We'll see you all for On Loose Lines next Monday. Never know, we might do another live show during the week.